Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sai Kumar from Hyderabad, India. Firstly, I would like to thank International Institute of Organized Research for giving me this opportunity to express my views and thoughts. Global Edu-Conclave is a great initiative by 6 great institutions which are organizing this conference. I'm happy that I am privileged to be part of this great event. The theme of this conference is United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2030. When we talk about United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2030, these are a set of 17 goals for the world's future through 2030, backed by a set of 169 detailed targets negotiated over a period of 2 years at the United Nations, agreed to by nearly all the world nations on 25th of September 2015. At the beginning of this new millennium, in way back in 2000s, world leaders gathered at United Nations to shape a broad vision to fight with the poverty and in many dimensions of the poverty. The vision was translated into 6 Millennium Development Goals, MDGs. The Millennium Development Goal framework has guided development across the world for past 15 years, and significant achievements have been made, but many people are being left behind despite of this Millennium Development Goal plan. And so when we talk about this United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2030, what is this new? It's new and different about this 17 Sustainable Development Goals? And the first and foremost important thing is these goals apply to every nation, every sector, city, business organizations, schools, whatnot, everyone. All are challenged to act. This is called universality. Secondly, it is recognized that these goals all are interconnected in a system. We cannot aim to achieve one single goal. We must achieve all of them together. This is called integration. And finally, with widely recognized that achieving these goals involves making very big fundamental changes how we live on this earth. It is called transformation. So when we see into more in detailed way, the main goals focus us on 5 P's. People, for the well-being of all the people of this planet. Second P, planet, protection of Earth's ecosystem. Prosperity, continued economic and technological growth. Peace, securing world peace. Partnership, improving international cooperation. So these 5 aspects are interdependent. Therefore, the Sustainable Development Goals demand integrated thinking as well as integrated approaches to in achieving these goals. My topic for the day is Sustainable Development Goal number 4, ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunity for all. Education is fundamental for the economic development of any country. It plays a very crucial role in economic and social progress of a country, and thus thereby the whole uh, world. It promotes the productivity and creativity of human capital and paves way for entrepreneurship and technological development. We can see the countries which have leveraged on human capital to optimize the use of physical capital have achieved faster growth. Thus, investment in education or human capital is significant for the progress of economic development. Education is the only valuable gift that we can give to the further generations. Knowledge society exists since the existence of human beings in different forms. The development of society depends on well-educated, well-informed community where information and knowledge are important components. Knowledge economy is an economy which creates, discriminates, and uses knowledge to enhance growth and development in all sectors, including agriculture, industry, and service sectors, which are considered as primary, tertiary, and sectors. The growth and development of all information society leads to knowledge society. Information literacy is basically empowering all the people in all walks of life to seek, evaluate, use, and create this information effectively and efficiently to achieve their personal, social, occupational, and educational goals. Education equips learners of all ages with skills and values needed to be responsible for global citizens, such as respect for human rights, gender equity, environmental sustainability. Investing in strengthening of a country's education sector is key for development of any country and its people. Major progress has been made in access to education, specifically the primary school level, to both boys and girls. However, access doesn't always mean quality of education or completion of primary education. Currently, 103 million youth worldwide are still lack of basic literacy skills, and more than 60% of those are women. Without investment in the quality education, progress of all other development indicators will stagnate. The Global Partnership for Education work to ensure that all citizens, irrespective of where they live, they get a quality education, prioritizing the most vulnerable. The most important point that we have to note here is we are living in an era of pandemic. Education is the one of the hardest hit sector in the current COVID-19 scenario. Many developing countries, underdeveloped countries, and poor nations hugely lack of digital infrastructure. Here comes the digital divide, a huge area of concern for uninterrupted education. Digital divide highlights the gap between the population who has access to computers and internet as compared to uh, those who don't have. In field of education, the impact of digital divide amplified as a result of this pandemic. And those who do not have access of digital resources experienced a significant setback in their education in contrast to the minimal interruption to those who have access to digital resources. When we go and look into individual goals of sustainable development goals, we find various targets. Target 4.1: by 2030, ensuring all girls and boys complete free, equitable, and quality education and secondary education, leading to relevant and effective learning outcomes, which targets on completion of quality primary and secondary education should be considered as secondary education should be considered as a universal minimum standard for the education. Target 4.2: by 2030, ensuring that all girls and boys have access to quality early childhood development care, pre-primary education so that they are ready for primary education. Expanding access to early childhood education is key to right to education, but unfortunately, the target emphasizes only on early childhood development rather than early childhood education and care. The right to education starts at birth, and target should go thus beyond the pre-primary education level. Look at the target 4.3. By 2030, ensure equal access for all women and men to affordable, quality technical and vocational and tertiary education, including university. Expanding access to quality, technical, and vocational as well as tertiary education represents an important step forward as these levels of education weren't covered in previous global education agendas. When we look at target 4.4, by 2030, sustainably substantially increase the number of youth and adults who have relevant skills, including technical, vocational, and employment and decent jobs and entrepreneurship. The emphasis on relevant skills can be seen as a direct response to high level of youth unemployment, but this target should have been combined with the previous target on vocational and tertiary education, as these are means of through where many skills are required. When we look at the target 4.5, by 2030, eliminate gender disparities in education and ensure equal access to all levels of education and vocational training for vulnerable, including all persons with disability indigenous people, and children in vulnerable situations. Equal access is the core of right to education, and this target is an important commitment to to reaching those traditionally who have been excluded from education. At the same time, equity considerations have to be made under each and every target. When we look at the target 4.6, by 2030, ensuring that all youth and sustainable substantial portions of adults, both men and women, achieve literacy and numeracy. This is the only target on adult education and lifelong learning, a central part of educational goal. It's unfortunate that this target covers all youth, but only substantial portion of adults. When we look at the target 4.7, by 2030, ensure that all learners acquire the knowledge and skills required to promote sustainable development, including among all the education and sustainable development. Sustainable lifestyles, human rights, gender equity, promotion of culture of peace, non-violence, global citizenship, appreciation of cultural diversity, cultural contribution to sustainable development. This target places education for human rights, global citizenship, and sustainable development at all center of quality education uh, and of education policy beyond 2030. Being an explicit policy priority, will have to be given to the ways in which education, human rights, and global citizenship and sustainable development integrated across curriculums and teacher training and teaching and learning materials. When we move forward and look at 4.A, build and upgrade education facilities that are for children, disabilities, with disabilities and gender sensitive, and provide safe, non-violent, and inclusive and effective learning environment for all. Quality education cannot take place without safe and inclusive learning environments. The target represents an important commitment in building new schools, but also upgrading existing facilities, schools for all. It also pushes cleaner national level definitions and policies on child with disabilities and gender sensitive learning environments. When we look at the target 4.B, by 2020, substantially expand the global number of scholarships available to the developing countries, in particular, least developed countries, small islands, developing states, and African countries, for enrollment in higher education, including vocational training, information, communication technology, technical, engineering, and scientific programs in developed countries and other developing countries. This goal, I can say, this goal is not accomplished to the fullest in view of these prevailing pandemic situations, but only up to certain amount it has successfully been implemented. When we look at the target 4.C, by 2030, substantially increase the supply of qualified teachers, including through international cooperation for teacher training in developing countries, especially least developed countries and small islands and developing states. This a target dedicated to teacher and their roles in delivering quality education for all is key. Of course, the key of success of these new agendas. But unfortunately, this particular target is insufficient as a mean to overcome the shortage of trained and qualified teachers. My key area of research in past few months and years was I researched in this and surveyed students, faculty, and population of various socio-economic sections, authored various articles, research studies on online education, digital education, using ICT tools in education, digital divide, and new and innovative pedagogies in education. It is considered as education has no boundaries day by day, and there is being a great changes in science and technology in this world. I would say I would be striving to do more and deeper research in this field of educational practices. Several challenges and opportunities for implementation of the Sustainable Development Goal 4 and its targets. There are challenges like school dropouts, retention of students in secondary education, retaining of committed teachers and well-trained teachers, and lack of innovation in teaching, and lack of innovation in evaluation criteria, and 360 degrees development for the students, and also obviously the digital divide. And despite of these challenges, there are many opportunities, uh, I can say. And I would like to end my presentation with the slogan of take action. It's my sincere request to one and all who is watching this to do as much as you can do to support the sustainable development goal of education for all. Because education is a key aspect in development of the world. Kindly learn to speak the knowledge of development, raise awareness and build capacity, focusing on implementing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2030, and make an agenda at your national, regional, and local level, and try to spread the word. This is how we can achieve the global success of this, accomplish this sustainable development goals unitedly. Thank you.